gameplay section of the Liberty video guide, I decided to do something different this time. I'm going to talk over a recording of myself playing so that there's no random pauses of me thinking through things. The goal of this game is to demonstrate how to use Liberty for a medieval era domination push. I'm going to be playing as Arabia with the famous Camel archers, and I'm going in blind as usual, and settings are Pangea, small map, and standard speed. At the very beginning here, I move out of the coast to settle on this hills tile. I like settling on hills, especially on Liberty, because with the Republic policy under the Liberty tree, you can get +1 production in all your cities, including your capital, so that's a 2 food, 3 production capital. Plus I'll be working on the stone tile right next to it, which has 2 food and 1 production, so that's a very strong start from the beginning. I found my first neighbor, which is Assyria, quite early. I'm using my warrior to circle around his cities to find the right moment I can steal a worker. I also find Tyre, which is the nearby city-state, and I'm going to do a worker steal soon from them as well. After I build a scout and then monument, I'm going for a settler right away. My city doesn't grow while I build the settler anyway, so I purchase the gems tile and start working it. I don't need food at this moment, just production and gold. Assyria is one of those civs that notoriously likes to expand a lot alongside France and the Iroquois, so I have to build a settler quickly. Here I see that nobody is guarding the worker, so this is a perfect moment for a worker steal. Your starting warrior can survive 1 enemy city bombardment and then attack from an enemy warrior. Here my warrior gloriously survives and completes the worker steal mission. Then in my capital, after the settler is finished, I build a shrine. There's a lot of cattle and horses nearby, so I will be going for God of the Open Sky for extra +1 culture in every one of my pastures. In a domination game, culture pantheons are usually preferred over faith pantheons. My new settler is slowly moving towards the northwest. I see a good spot where I can reach both the golds tile and the marbles tile with only 1 city. You want to claim as many luxury resources as possible using the fewest number of cities. And in your new city, you build the monument and then the library. And after the shrine, I build a caravan so I can send it to Assyria and leech off some signs from them. Here I perform another worker steal from Tyre. When I attack a city-state, the most important thing is to avoid making peace, prolong the conflict, and stick to attacking only 1 city-state. This is all to minimize the warmongering penalties. If you attack a city-state and try attacking again, no city-state is going to love that. Meanwhile, with these stolen workers, I will focus on developing my tiles. The best ones are luxury resources that give you production as well, or horses and cattle. Especially I need to develop horses as Arabia because I want to build chariot archers as soon as possible. The other luxury resources and farms can come later. And here I get another settler for free from the collective rule policy, and I move it towards the dice tile. That's the only luxury that I see on the map that I haven't claimed yet. You always want resource diversity. I have to be fast though before Assyria snatches up that tile. And this third city, when settled, also prioritize monument and then library. I see that my worker is in danger of being captured, so I bring over a warrior to recapture it. Since that worker managed to finish improving horses, I can start building chariot archers right away. I want to build as many of them as possible, but my starting location only had 4 horses, so I will be purchasing a few from neighboring AIs. And once these chariot archers are done, I'll slowly bring them towards Tyre, the city-state, to train them, and also to clear up that 1 barbarian cap that's being a hassle. Philosophy is going to be finished in 10 turns, so I have to make sure to finish libraries in all my cities. So here I switch my production to libraries even if I haven't finished the current project that is going on. My capital will also make chariot archers in the meanwhile, but I will have to stop at some point to make a library as well. You want to have libraries in all your cities at the same time so that you can start building the National College. I always make sure to have some units in the border cities to protect them, in case Assyria or any neighboring AI civs go a little bit aggressive. So you can see I still have my archer and starting warrior in Damascus. I managed to steal another worker from Tyre just now. I'm trading my chariot archers against Tyre's city bombardments. I have to make sure that I don't accidentally lose any of my units. The key is to move in, shoot, take a hit, and then fall back. I will ultimately take over Tyre, but there is no rush at this moment. My caravan just now finished its 30-turn journey, and instead of sending it back to Assyria, I send it internally for food. When there is an active trade route to Assyria and then I attack them, the caravan unit is destroyed, and I don't want to build another one from scratch, so that's why I did that, even if I'm not getting that sweet science from Assyria. While that is going on, I progress my tech towards markets. Markets are especially good for Arabia because they have a special market called the Bazaar. It clones whatever luxury resource you have in your borders, so every city that you own with a bazaar is basically a money fountain. The exchange rate for a luxury resource is typically 7 gold per turn, or 240 gold upfront, whenever you sell it to a deity AI. Now, while the capital is working on the National College, the satellite cities are the ones that are pumping out chariot archers. Now, is there a perfect number of how many chariot archers you need to build? The answer is always as many as possible, but at a minimum 6. But I always try to go for excess units, 10, 12, 14, even more. The more units you have, the faster you can conquer the AI, and you can even work on multiple cities if you have a lot of units. You want to make the most out of your powerful camel archers during the time it's relevant, so speed is key, and quantity helps with speed. I'm slowly whittling down on Tyre's defenses, and eventually I'll take over with my one starting melee unit, which is the warrior. And sometimes if you're not sure if one warrior will do the jobs, building a scout to be a decoy, or worst case scenario, just take the city with the scout, that's something you have to do oftentimes. When you're making deals with the enemy AI, if they are friendly enough with you, they'll sometimes allow you to trade for a lump sum of gold like this, rather than a gold per turn deal. And always take the option to get a lump sum of gold. If you have a gold per turn agreement, if you wage war against that AI, that agreement is gone, so you're not getting any more gold. But if you get a lump sum of gold up front, even if you declare war, you don't have to return the money because the deal's already done. So that's a very good deal for you and not a very good deal for them. The AI can be rather short-sighted. And now that I took over Tyre, I'm starting this strategy called City-State Ransom Money. And I'm looking around to see who the highest bidder is to sell this city-state. The amount of money they will give you is dependent on their personality, how much they want to own more cities, and how close they are to that city-state. Turns out Assyria is the one that is going to give me the most amount of money. It's just 52 gold and 5 gold per turn, but it's better than nothing. Sometimes with civs that really like liberating cities, they will give you 20 to 30 gold per turn. Even with not much gold, it's good because I don't need that city and I just gifted him a bunch of unhappiness. Tyre didn't even get to improve their luxury resources because I kept harassing them. I'm trying to stockpile a lot of money here. It takes 140 gold to upgrade a chariot archer into a camel archer. So whatever number of chariot archers times 140 is the money I need. I'm going to sell all my excess luxury resources from the bazaar. The goal is to get 30, 40, or even 50 gold per turn by turn 90-ish. And once I have the ability to build horsemen, I want to build at least 2 horsemen. The Camel Archers are relatively fast units with 4 movement points, but they are ranged units, so they can't take cities by themselves. So you need some kind of melee unit to take the last hit on the city, and the only melee units that has the movement speed to catch up to Camel Archers in this area is the regular horsemen. I'm building 2 of them in case one of the horsemen gets accidentally destroyed and I'm out of fast melee units. I could build 3 or 4, but I don't need that many. If I have lots of horses, I could do that, but it's always a careful balance not to sacrifice firepower from having the maximum number of Camel Archers. And I'm chopping down all the trees near my capital to get these units out faster. And I'm almost done with producing the bazaars in all my cities, and I now finish the Liberty Policy tree as well, and I get a free Great Scientist. And in this build, you always go for the free Great Scientist. And I'm selling all of my luxury resources, and whenever I can to get just a lump sum money, I go for that. And since the neighbors are starting to pick up that I am a warmonger, they are giving me less and less money. The trick to using a free great scientist here is to wait until you have the most amount of science. A free great scientist, if you activate it, it's going to give you around 8 turns worth of science. And it's better to use the great scientist to give you science up front rather than build an academy improvement, because that doesn't pay back enough until you get 40 or 50 turns later. So it doesn't complete the mission of you trying to get through policies as quickly as possible. And here I, for a second, get tempted to build a Petra, but you don't build wonders in this domination game. You just simply don't have that time. The only thing you're building is basically units. And I successfully build, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chariot archers, or 11. And I'm going to upgrade all of them into Camel Archers in 2 turns. So you want to unlock Camel Archers somewhere around turn 90 to 95. I'm a little bit slower than this, but ultimately, the Camel Archers are so strong anyway. So as long as you unlock them in a reasonable amount of time, you are able to just take over the world with just Camel Archers. Now, the movement I just did there is to raid the caravan, so I can get 100 more gold from Assyria, so I can upgrade 1 more chariot archer into camels. And here, Nineveh only has a defense of 15, so I'm able to just ignore the pikemen and just attack the city. And that pikeman alone is not going to be able to retake the city anyway, so I'm able to do this. And now with the remaining ones, I start working on Nimrod. Now the workers, the remaining workers here are trying to build farms everywhere in all of my cities so that the cities can grow and start contributing more to science. And just to make sure I'm not getting attacked from behind by either Celts or the Brits, or maybe both, I make sure that either one of them fight against each other. The trick is that you always want to constantly make your neighbors to fight against each other, so you can start conquering in peace without having to worry that they declare joint war on you. If they declare joint war on me, there's very little defenses in my back cities, in Damascus and Medina, so that would have been dangerous. So that's why I always take care to do that. Meanwhile, Nimrod's defenses are so weak, I'm able to take it very quickly as well. Every you want to get to the capital and take it within like a 6-7 turns of declaring a war against the Civ, if you can, or like at the latest 10. Here I attack that warrior first on the northeast of the city first, so that I can, because the warrior was exerting zone of control, my horseman was not able to escape. So once I took care of that warrior, my horseman was able to escape. And in all of my other cities, I try to just build camel archers. The more, the merrier. I let Assyria take Nimrod back because that actually helped me with my happiness and also helps me burn down the city faster. I don't actually need the city, and that incense luxury, I can always get it with a great general citadel to expand the borders. So I don't actually need that. It's always a good thing to have some amount of defense forces in the back, so that if there's any enemies that are trying to attack you from the back, you can deal with it. And Ashur has 22 defenses, that they were focused too heavily on trying to build wonders, so that's all good news for us. Looks like they built Chichen Itza in the middle of the ocean, as per Civ5 tradition goes. And I start also moving the camel archers that aren't directly involved in taking the capital towards Mongolia to just scout around. That archer is quickly disposed of, and I'm moving that one horseman towards the city capital. And here I notice that Mongolia has already taken this city-state and turned it into a colony. And always, you want to make sure you have the right amount of movement points. Just keep in mind that if you go from flatland into hills, or just like moving from hills to hills takes 2 movement points. And your horsemen and your camel archers have 4 movement points total. So count carefully. The Buenos Aires only has 14 defense, so it's going to be able to be liberated very quickly. So besides that one city-state that I just took over and sold, the rest of the city-state should be liberated if possible. The benefit you get from just having their yields is much greater than just having a underdeveloped city that just drains your happiness. And like that, Buenos Aires was liberated. And I moved the camel archers in a way to protect the horsemen, because after taking a city, the horseman has very lower health, typically. And I slowly march all of my camel archers towards Karakorum. And in this era, nothing really can stand against the overall combat strength of the camel archer. So all of Mongolish units are a toast. And when a Keshik archer and a camel archer fights one-on-one, the camel archer is always going to win because it just has superior power. The only downside of a camel archer is that it only has a 4 movement point, so it doesn't do well against the Great Wall wonder if the enemy has it, whereas Keshiks typically don't have a problem even with the Great Wall. Perhaps that's historically relevant, but I don't know if that was actually intentional. And like that, most of the Assyrian lands are conquered. He has one city in Tyre. I'm probably going to leave him alone and not try to take Tyre, because that's going to be a nice buffer zone between me and England. And now that I've unlocked a new policy, I goes towards commerce. I like to argue that commerce is the best mid-game policy for domination victories. And we'll talk more about that in the actual commerce policy tree video. And here, is another city-state, and we are going to try to liberate. because has pretty good defenses, I make sure to kill all of the units first because I can't afford to lose any of my workers um, and any of my camel archers. And I want to keep the snowball continue to grow. And it's important to keep your camel archers healthy and alive so that they can eventually have all the promotions, including logistics and range. Once you have logistics and range on all of your camel archers, the game is as good as over. Probably next turn I'm going to be able to liberate her here. And I move the second great general I obtained towards Tyre's direction because I want that horse tile. So I'm going to build a settler there and steal that horse tile to get 4 more extra horses, which is great. And Ur is liberated. Again, I'm moving that camel archer towards this direction so that just in case somebody tries to attack this horseman to attach like no health left. And now it's time to get towards Karakoram. Karakoram is actually quite well defended because of the geography, because it has a river surrounding it. So it's hard to just have my camel archers to move in and out. So that camel archer is stuck in city bombardment range. The good thing about camel archers is that it's really forgiving in terms of you can bring it, you can take a few hits with the camel archer and it will likely survive because it has such a high defensive strength. And here I'm trying to fit in as many camel archer bombardments as possible in a limited amount of space, and also trying to make sure that to bring the horsemen closer and closer to Karakoram, so ultimately it becomes in one horseman charge range of taking the capital. And with the camel archers that aren't directly involved with taking Karakoram, I will attack other cities. And sometimes you have to make a decision of whether to recover your camel archers with your promotion just to keep the momentum, or if you want to actually take a promotion that is offensive so that you can get towards logistics faster. And here, I noticed that this is also a city-state, and Florence only has 15 defense, so it's going to be easy to take over and liberate again. I start building some coliseums and other happiness buildings in my capital and other cities, just so that I later don't have a problem with happiness. And I get even more horses from the Mayans. Unfortunately, I had to sacrifice one of my camel archers, which hurts a lot, but at least I was able to take care of Karakoram here, right here. And I'm also able to liberate Florence. Now, right at this moment, after I click a next turn, the game crashes. And I also had to replay from turn 110, which was the last autosave. And also the audio from the recording cuts off from here, so I'm just going to put on music that goes along well with a domination victory game that seems to be going well so far. And then from this point on, I just take care of the rest of Genghis Khan's cities and then go towards Maya and finish off the English and the Celts. And I'm going to stop talking until we reach the English because I'm going to demonstrate a little bit and explain about how to deal with the Great Wall Wonder, which gives a lot of trouble for many domination games.